So it's live streaming on Facebook, I believe. At least that's what Zoom is telling me, and we're recording. We are live. People are rolling in. Welcome, everyone. Hello, my name is Eleni Sommerschield. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Wise Agent. Today, I'm joined by fabulous Sabrina Lowery. She is a dear friend. She is a tech evangelist. I love that phrase. Like when I heard her, when I met her, we met in November. When did we meet?
October.
When we met in October, we met at an event through a mutual friend, J-Man, Jeremias, at Rochester and New York. And she introduced herself as a tech evangelist. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I love that phrase. I'm like, that is really cool. So, we met and really connected because of both of our backgrounds in technology. Sabrina has also been a realtor and a broker for 20 years. Is that correct?
This is year 19, almost 20.
Year 19, yes. So, and she is, even though we met in Rochester, New York, Sabrina is in Georgia, right? Are you in Atlanta?
Home of the national champions, Atlanta Braves.
Yes, Atlanta. So she is a 3-time best-selling author, broker owner of Legacy Realty. Yes, there you go. I have a couple of her books. So I have her books here. There they are, Sabrina. So we're excited. We're going to be talking about using Google Apps to boost your real estate technology and everything that all things related to Google and Wise Agent CRM. So, you know, with Google being one of the most visited sites, I think in the world, I think it did get bumped down by TikTok just recently, but it's still a pretty powerful technology and search engine. And so, you know, they have great APIs. If you guys don't know, we're going to try and keep the tech talk a little on the lower side here. We're not going to talk as much tech as Sabrina, you and I would normally do if it's just the two of us. But APIs, an API for everyone out there is application protocol or program interface. And I just realized I just got a hello from Ed. I got so excited about talking tech with you, Sabrina. I didn't say my whole spiel that I normally say. So sorry about that. Let me take it back a step. Hi, Ed. Thanks for reminding me to say hello to everybody. So if you guys want to, it's just like me and Sabrina only, nobody else. But there are people on. So if you guys want to pop in on the chat and just say hello, what city and state that you're coming from and what your brokerage, that'd be great. I always love seeing, you know, all the familiar names and faces. Ed, so great to see you in Maryland and Omaha, Nebraska. Awesome. I see Bob Rose. Bob is on here. Hey, Bob. I haven't talked to you in a while. So out of Lancaster. So we are recording this. We are live on Facebook. We're going to have, once this session is done, we're going to send this out to you in an email. So you'll get it in your inbox as soon as we wrap this one up. So, we do have our moderator, Sarah, kind of in the background. She's going to be moderating the chat. So if you have any questions, hey, Rick from Arizona and Eddie in New York. If you guys have any questions while we're talking about this topic of Google and Google Apps, go ahead and post it in the chat. There's also Q&A section. That's a really good way to ask any questions, and we'll answer those live as well as type those out for you. So don't be shy and fill that, you know, send us your questions because we love answering those. All right, so now let me get back to the technology. And if you guys have watched this webinar, you guys know I do love technology. That is my background. That's my, that is one of my passions in life. And so, and I know that's the same for Sabrina as well. She loves technology, and that's kind of how we connected a few months back. So Sabrina, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Good afternoon on the East Coast, everyone.
Yes, yes. And so, so we talked a little bit about Google. We're going to be talking about Google and Google Apps and the Google integration. Wise Agent has really gone deep with our integration with Google, just because that is the most, one of the most popular websites out there in the world right now, the most popular search engine, and just has a lot of different things that, you know, a lot of value that it brings for your business. So one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about, Sabrina, is, you know, how are you using, as you're getting settled in there, how are you, there we go. How are you using Google in your business? Are you using all of the apps that Google provides?
Absolutely. So I have been on the formerly known as G Suite platform since 2014. I started my brokerage in 2012, but as Eleni mentioned, I've been a licensed realtor since 2003. So Google Workspace, G Suite, Google Apps for Business, none of that existed. And I came from an IT background. So let me give you all a little bit of my background. So before real estate being my second career, I was a computer programmer and software developer. I went to school for that at the University of Florida. So my undergrad training is in information technology, business systems, and development. And so software has always been my niche. I did not go on the hardware or engineering side of things, even though I started my degree in engineering program at UF, but I went more towards the software, the design, how the applications service businesses and help us as humans, right? And so with my background, when I started real estate, I came into the business where we had fax machines and we were faxing over 23-page contracts. We had a brand new tool to my brokerage at the time that led to the whole e-agent. When you think about e-agent back in the day, right? And that was the whole idea of this virtual real estate agent. So if I'm coming from an IT, very high tech, very analytical background, and then I come into real estate and it feels like sales to me, I was not a happy camper. So I needed to bridge the gap. I needed to learn ways to navigate with the real estate technology because it was behind the times. It wasn't the trending subject like it is now, where we're all getting pitched for a new buy-in every single week. What membership? What do we need now? Oh, I got to subscribe to this. And so that wasn't what I came from. So my goal now, especially as I coach other agents into success and transformation in their business using technical platforms, is to truly help them replace the human factor. So when you think about Google and all the apps that we use every single day, I'll just give you my number one Google tool, period blank, Google Calendar. How many of y'all can relate to that? If Google Calendar is your number one go-to, I need to see it in the chat. Like right now, let's go. Google Calendar. Because Eleni and I say this all the time. If it ain't on my calendar, it don't exist.
It doesn't. Yeah. And it won't happen. It won't happen.
It doesn't happen. I don't care how close of a friend, you could even be my mama. And I'm like, did you check my calendar before you called me mom?
Right.
My Google Calendar. Like seriously, I see you, Rebecca. She says, love my Google, LOL. Yeah. And that Google Calendar, honey, it is the for real. But even when you have to replace the human, that's like our virtual assistant. So now it's a mindset shift. It's like, oh, well, what human can I replace with what technology platform? And then you marry the two, Eleni.
Exactly. And I mean, the Google Calendar is, I mean, my go-to thing. I mean, when I have 3 kids, They all have Gmails. They all have Google calendars. They ask me every day, what time are we going to this? What time are we going to that? And I'm like, I don't know, look at your calendar. Stop asking me. Like, it's there for you. So if that isn't a motivator for you to start using Google Calendar, I don't know what is. I mean,
Well,
that's,
I have to address a comment because this is jumping off the screen at me right now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Mr. Darren McGilvery says, nope, I'm Apple everything. Well, kudos to you, my darling, because it is 2022. And for Christmas, I got my first Apple anything.
Really? I'm all Apple. So
Eleni
I've
when
got,
I met her.
I know.
Go ahead.
I said I'm all Apple everything. I've got an iPhone, an iMac, a MacBook Pro, an iPad. I'm all, an iWatch, Apple Watch, AirPods. I got it all.
So this is the thing, Eleni, when you and I met, we even talked about the whole FaceTime thing with our kids, right?
Yeah.
And I said to you, I don't know anything about Apple, and my kids are Apple everything, especially my oldest son, who used to work at the Apple store on South Beach in Miami, y'all. And so for mama not to, like, as the tech evangelist, I may be all things tech on a PC, on Windows, and on Google, but I am learning Apple and the iPad technology. So that would be like part B conversation, is how to integrate all of the Apple products into our real estate businesses, Darren. So I just had to address that, Eleni, because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this, because so I am an Apple user, and I think Apple is great. Their hardware is great. I use it more for the hardware portion side of things, meaning that I don't use like Apple Mail. I use Gmail. I use all the Google suites. And I still call it Google Suite. I use all the Google apps. So I use the Google Calendar and everything else, and it works amazingly well. Even though Google and Apple are giant competitors, their APIs do play nice together most of the time. There are some little things here and there just because they are competitors on the hardware side of things, and some of the software as well. So there's that, but everything on my phone, I don't have it going to my iCloud. I have everything going, even my pictures, that goes to my Google Photos. It syncs my Gmail, my calendar, all of that goes all to my Google accounts. So you can have all Apple products, like the hardware itself, but you can all use it with Google Contacts and everything else. So it is done. I do it. I've done it every day. So one of the things that I know, part of this conversation too is what other, so we've established you're an Android user and all in on Google, and that does play really nice together. And we'll talk a little bit about what I've found, at least, that doesn't play well with some of the Apple products. But the Google Contacts, right? And the Google Contacts is a big thing for me. I mean, I need to have my database. I need to have everything syncing really perfectly, because that is, besides being the COO of a CRM company, I need to know where all my contacts are and be able to get a hold of everyone, which is in any industry that you're in, right? As a realtor, you need to have all your contacts syncing, being able to find them and search for them perfectly. I mean, Sabrina, how do you use your Google Contacts and how do you manage that?
Absolutely. So when Eleni introduced me to Wise Agent, ladies and gentlemen, the very first question I asked her was, how do I get my contacts from Google in there? Because I have over 10,000 contacts in my real estate database. So for those of you that have large amount of contacts, you have got to know this import export feature. And if you do not, right now in the chat, I need you to type, I need to learn import export on Google Contacts. Okay, so that's your call to action right now, so that Eleni and I can be very, very clear in teaching you how to integrate. This is the only way to be successful when you're talking about new technologies. And this import export feature is not only relevant to Wise Agent, it's relevant across multiple technology platforms, and we'll talk about that along the way as well. So I see y'all putting it in the chat. I need to learn. I need to learn. This is awesome.
And so the thing to know about that is, let me just distinguish, let me just clarify. So there is an import feature, and export feature from Google.
Yes.
What we've done from Wise Agent's perspective is we've made it easy where you want to be able to import everything into Google, meaning, so if you have spreadsheets from years ago of contacts, or you have it from a past CRM that you've used to, and now you want to migrate over to Wise Agent. What I always recommend is, if you're using Google Contacts, put them into import those into your Google Contacts, because Google does, they're just a smidge larger than Wise Agent, right? They have a little bit more developers than we do here. And so they have a great way of being able to find and merge duplicates really quickly and easily. We do that as well, but obviously Google is Google, right? So they could do it really quickly and really easily. And so then what you would do is use our sync to then sync those over to Wise Agent. And with a click of a button, that will all come into Wise Agent, and you don't have to export then that whole entire list. If you're using Apple, so I see some people saying, all my contacts are, I see Wyatt here saying, all of my contacts are in Apple. How do I get them out of there? You can export those all out of your Apple contacts, import them into Google, find and merge any duplicates, and then sync them to Wise Agent, and everything will sync over, including the tags or the categories that you have them in, okay? So that's really important, because the category, you've taken time in your Google Contacts over the years to put people in categories. That's a big thing. So, that's something that's really important to do.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. Very important, but that was one of the #1 takeaways in learning how to use a CRM is contacts. You've got to have the people so that you can communicate with them and establish your communication plan. So thank you so much, Eddie. Let's move on, please.
Yeah. And so the other thing, so when Sabrina and I first met, we were both speaking at this event. And then Sabrina went on to speak at NAR in November in San Diego. And she, we talked about that a little bit, and she showed me her presentation, and she had done a Google form. Is it okay if I talk about this here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So she's like, oh, at the end of my presentation, I'm going to have everyone, use a QR code and you fill out a Google form, and then I'll export those contacts and then import them into Wise Agent and then do this. I was like, wow, that's a lot of steps. I'm like, can I tell you something? Now, mind you, this was what, 2 days before you left for San Diego?
Yes, it was.
Right. Okay. I thought she was going to come over Zoom and strangle me when I said this to her. I was a little nervous. I said, can I just change up the whole flow for you and make it streamlined? And I said, instead of using a Google form, which Google forms are great, but especially for gathering contact information, you want that going straight into your CRM. And if you guys don't know, I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen so then you guys can see what we're talking about here. Oh, I can't see. There we are. Oh, hold on a second, because I'm on Facebook on this screen that I'm about to share. So I'm going to share my screen now. So if you're using a Google Forms, what you have to do with that is obviously create the form itself, and then fill out all the questions and whatever you have in there. And what I told Sabrina is, I said, or you can create a landing page within Wise Agent and come in here and, you can take any of these templates, and I don't recall which template that you had used, but let's just say it was this helping me to get to know you, because you had a lot of questions that you wanted to have filled out. And basically what I said to Sabrina, I said, take that Google form and convert it into a landing page in Wise Agent. And then all you need to do is have that QR code relinked to this landing page, where then you could ask all the questions that you want. And then when they click on submit, is immediately it'll go into your Wise Agent account. And then immediately you'll have a drip campaign already set up that you can say, okay, well, now I want them to be talked to in this way, shape, or form, whatever. And then you've got that drip campaign going. And so that's what we did 2 days before her presentation she was about to give her presentation. And it went over smoothly,
Very
right, Sabrina?
successfully, very,
Yeah.
very successfully. So let's go back just a little bit, because I'm looking at the chat and I want to address the people, right? This engagement is important. That's why they came here to learn. And first of all, because this is a short 1-hour webinar, you are not going to truly learn the intricacies of the process, because it will take you more than an hour to complete said process. So that's point number one. Number two, Tamika asked, will we be discussing Zapier in this session? And more than likely not, because that's another integration that Wise Agent has. But I will say that the help tutorial and the YouTube videos, if you type Wise Agent Zapier, you will 9 times out of 10 find exactly what you need, Tamika. Okay. So next, when we needed to do a landing page, how many of you have used Google Forms in the past? If you have, please type in the chat Google Forms. Yes, Tamika. Okay, so when you use Google Forms in the past, it was designed as our little one-stop, one-pager landing page. And that was the technology when Google first started that gave us the ability to create our own landing pages without the MailChimp, without the other Constant Contact and all these other third party. We're talking about eliminating costs in our budget. Let's just keep it real, y'all, right? We're all sick and tired of having 17 different technologies auto debiting our accounts every single month. And so when we use Google, it becomes a one-stop shop for those that are budget conscious. So I want to lead with that, because that's what Google does. And some of you might not even be subscribing to Wise Agent yet. You might even be in your trial on the platform and making the decision to invest or not. But Google Forms for the freebie allows you to go into Eleni's point and create that landing page, if you will. When I would do open houses, that Google form was my landing page. I would have my tablet set up in the workshop, in the open house. They would sign name, email, contact me, click the checkbox, submit. Boom. That was all it was. It was a way for me to do what? Lead capture, y'all. Okay, we're not talking about lead magnets. There's a difference. So for the purpose of the landing page with Google Forms, we're trying to collect minimal information and then get the contact in the database. But you still had to go another step, okay, which is to Eleni's point, why we want to use the integration within Wise Agent. You're eliminating one step in technology, which most people need. They don't even want to deal with the technology as it is. So when we can eliminate a step, and what do we call? Make sure that's a seamless process. That's when people take a hold of it. So Eleni, if you will screen share one more time, and if you will just make sure that people know exactly how they import the contact. That was the first thing. And then the second thing, go one more time slowly to the landing page feature on Wise Agent. So there we go.
Yeah, so let me show you. So here's, when you start a new Google form, this is what it looks like, right? There's a distinguishing factor here. I mean, if you're using this for an open house, if you're using this for any form of, some kind of survey, some kind of whatever, that you already have those contacts in your database, maybe not, or maybe you don't care to have them in there for whatever reason, or it's not about the contacts, it's just about the questions. Google Forms is great for that. But if you look at our examples, our templates for an open house, when you're hosting an open house, you want this, I mean, there's certainly a huge distinguishing factor in the looks, right? This is very plain. And then there's the open house, right? And you can have the image of the house here, whatever it is that you want. And we have other templates that you can choose from. But it's really easy to do. It's just selecting your template, clicking on the create button, and then changing out the elements, meaning changing out the image, changing out the words, whatever it is. If you don't want it to, if you don't want to collect a phone number, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to, or if you want to collect more things, you can do that in here. So it is really robust. And then what happens, and this is where kind of that magic happens, is once they click on submit, now you have two things happen. One, from the consumer's perspective, they will be redirected somewhere else, right? On the Google Forms, they don't have the option of being redirected anywhere else. Once they hit submit, they're done, bye, right? On Wise Agent's landing pages, you click on submit and you can redirect them to your Facebook page, to your website, to your reviews on some portal. You can do all sorts of things, okay? You could redirect them to Google if you want, I don't care. That's up to you. On the back end, what happens for you, this is the magic, is those contacts will follow the rules that you have set up. So you come in here and you say, okay, for this open house, I want to have a specific response. I want to add them to a drip campaign, right? I want to add them to this drip campaign. I want to categorize them, right? I want to tag them with, you know, whatever it is, prospective buyers, whatever, right? You're going to already have the source in there. So they're going to be sourced. So you'll automatically be able to find them by the source saying, this is for 123 Main Street. But if you know that you're holding it on a particular date, you want to have that category, you can. And then you can auto respond to them. So you could respond to them saying in an email that goes out right away. If this is an open house, you may want to pause on that. That's kind of like, let them come in and enjoy themselves. What I've told people, you can have an auto text message go out and say, you know, hey, don't forget to look in the basement where there's a beautiful bar and, you know, pool table or whatever it is. Right. I know one of my friends, Marquis, she had said she posts a QR code. She prints out a QR code with a link to a page, and you can't come into the open house until you submit your form. And then on the response, what you could do is, okay, you're free to enter the house, right? So instead of, you know, being able to, you know, walk in and out, and then Marquis can look and see, oh yes, I have that person's contact information in on my phone in my database, right?
Yes.
So it can follow this whole entire series of things, and it's used in so many different ways. I mean, I think I gave like 2 or 3 examples on how you can use the landing page, just even in an open house. So the possibilities are endless based on whatever application it is you're using it for, yes. Right? So you can use the landing pages for things like speaking at an event, hosting an open house, trying, you know, getting leads from from ads, digital ads, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's how that would work.
Yes, yes. And thank you so much, Sarah, for checking in on the chat, because there are a ton of questions there.
Chat, yeah.
And so for anyone whose question we don't get to address here live in the webinar, definitely check the chat and the comments, and we will definitely be uploading the recording of this webinar, so you can always go back and watch the replay. But I just wanted to make a mention and thank Sarah for that.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, on the Google contacts, this is one thing that I found over the years, that and Wise Agent, we have a great tech support team. So we have a great support staff here that will walk you through getting your contacts synced into Wise Agent. There's always a few things that you should be doing before you sync your contacts. You want to clean those up. So I mentioned that find and merge duplicates before. You want to make sure that that is happening, that you do that prior to syncing. You don't want to have a bunch of duplicates coming into your Wise Agent account, because then you'll have to go through that process manually. Not really manually, but you'll have to go through a process.
Yes.
So
I want to recap so far and just reset the audience, right? So far, we've been talking about Google Apps to boost your real estate business, and we've covered the Google Calendar, which is a very easy feature to integrate and sync in your Wise Agent account. And what I also like is the fact that Wise Agent sends you your daily agenda as an email every morning, and you can set the time of day in which that email will come to you. But that's another wonderful feature. So that's Google Calendar and Wise Agent. The second app we discussed is the Google Form versus the landing page feature in Wise Agent. And so each of the Google apps that we talk about, we're giving you the equivalent of how Google will either integrate with it or even replace the feature. Okay, so I want to now move into one of the questions here was, do all of the Google apps integrate within CRM? And I would say that the majority of them do, okay? For example, you may be thinking, okay, Google Drive, and what would I need to be saving documents for? And is this something that I could just have all of my documents stored in Wise Agent? And the answer is yes. So Eleni, can we go into Drive? And that will be our third place where we can upload a form or that logo or your headshot in Wise Agent library.
Yeah, so let's take it back a step. So let me share my screen here. And so I'm trying to do, so I normally work, all my personal stuff is all on Chrome. And then every time I do a demo, that's on Firefox, but we're talking about Google stuff today. So I'm like, I got some demo stuff open. So I'm gonna see if I can make this all work seamlessly. But and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, shoot, I didn't change my API key. So it might not work seamlessly because of all my demo accounts and real accounts here that I have open. But one of the things I want to show you is from Chrome with Gmail. We have a way of adding contacts, and this is my email account. I can come in here and take this contact and say, I want to add them to Wise Agent, right? So I want to add Marcia to my Wise Agent account. I can just look here. It will, if I need to fill anything in from her branding, I could fill in her phone number. And this is for my kids' school, so please don't call Marcia. And so I can click on add to Wise Agent and it will add it to a Wise Agent account. If it's a duplicate, it will tell me that it's a duplicate contact, and then I can just go to that contact within my Wise Agent account. So that's a big time saver right there, that I'm not having to type in a ton of information. I can have things, I can, it just automatically pulls the first and last name based on their branding and their email address and their information into that. And that is through a Chrome extension. And so if you come into your Wise Agent account and you click on integrations and go to your settings, this is where you'll see all of the things that were all of our partners, or most of our partners. And right here, you'll see where it says Google or Gmail Chrome extension. If you click on this Visit Chrome Store, it will take you just exactly to that page where you need to go to, and you can just, yours will say add to Chrome, and you will just select it to go to to be added to your Chrome extension, and then you put in your API key. There's a whole thing, we'll walk you through everything, and now you'll have this new button here, add to Wise Agent, right? So this is a really big time saver here for everyone. So that's the first thing that I wanted to
Eleni,
point.
can you do that one more time? Because there's 5 people in the chat.
Okay.
Just one more time. Click right there.
And I know
in an email.
Yeah, and Sarah also has this as a blog. She posted that blog here, okay, but it's basically just clicking on any email, and you can and it will add multiple people in here. So I can come in here and say, click on this button. It'll fill out her first and last name and the email address, and then I can type in any of the extra things in here click this button, add to Wise Agent, and that is done for me.
Yes.
So on the Wise Agent side, to where to go to the Chrome extension is from the integration menu and then settings.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
now once I come in here, and again, I'm like, I need to get logged into my personal account because I don't think this is going to show what I need it to show. But we also have an integration with Gmail. So yeah, it won't let me do that. I don't want to connect to my personal email here. So what will happen is, if this was like my real account, what you would see is you would see all the email conversations that I've had between myself and Michael Phelps, right? So obviously it's not the real Michael Phelps, it's this email address. So whatever email address you have in here, all of those emails will be, those conversations will be held here. So that's another time saver, especially in real estate. I mean, Sabrina, how many emails do you get a day with contracts and agreements that you need to save?
Yeah,
right?
over 100 emails, for sure.
That's a lot. And that's a huge time saver where you can go in there. And what I'm going to do, I've stopped sharing my screen because I'm going to set up I'm going to log out of this demo account and log into my personal account so you guys can see exactly how this works. Because I think that's the real power in it, is when you actually see some of it, it does make a huge difference. It's, there's a lot to it that you can have. You have the ability to not only, let me go to one of my test people here, and I want to show you what that Gmail looks like. So when I come here, I can see all of my conversations with, let's see if I screwed this up because I'm logged into a different Google account. Okay, we'll just log into that one. And so now I can see all my conversations, right? And I can see everything that was happening. So this is for my son. So basketball meeting, this is important, something I want to keep forever and ever. I could just attach it as a note. I don't have to copy and paste. So that, again, a huge time saver. If I have it, if I have a checklist, then it will add the note as a check to my checklist, right? And then also if there's attachments, I don't think I have any attachments with him in these emails, but if there was anything, any attachments, I can also have those being saved. Oh, here's one with an attachment. I can have the attachments saved to my attached files now. And then it'll just open. I don't know what that's opening.
And so, that's what I was speaking about earlier when I mentioned Google Drive. So for those of you all that are using Gmail, right? So Gmail as your email provider. And so when you go in Gmail and when you have an attachment there, you can automatically click that add to Drive. So this is the similar feature in the Wise Agent CRM tool that you can add the attachment to your library. And so I want to make sure that you all understand, even though it's two separate platforms, you will have the ability to streamline your business. Pick one. It's not that it's going away on one platform versus the other. It's not like if you add the attachment in your CRM over here that it goes away on Gmail. So some people get confused in that, or they think, oh, well, if I delete it in my Wise Agent, is it going to delete out of my Google? And the answer is no.
No. Yeah, no, it won't. And that's the nice thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my inbox is crazy out of control. I was just talking to someone today and she had like 79,000 emails in her inbox. I'm like, oh, wow, I thought mine was bad. But what happens is in your emails, you get inundated with email after email. When you're able to go to that specific contact that I know Jacob sent me this email, right? I know Sabrina sent me this email. I could go directly to that contact and say, okay, where's that one that I'm looking for? And then read through it, save it automatically. It saves it to my my Wise Agent account. So if I do inadvertently or accidentally delete it from my Google account, it is in Wise Agent until I delete it from there.
That's right.
So that is the nice thing about it.
So I want to address another one of the points here, because Darren says, so Sabrina, are you forwarding a different email address to Gmail, or do you just give them the Gmail? So check this out, Darren. Because I am on Google Workspace, my Sabrina at legacyrealtyandmanagement.com is technically a Gmail. I've masked that at gmail.com with my own domain name. So let's talk about this for all the people out there that's still using your MSN and your at Outlook and all of those other handles. You have the ability with the Google Workspace platform as a subscriber to have your custom URL as your email, and you're still logging into gmail.com. I have the Gmail app on my phone, on my tablet, on all of my devices. So everything is forwarded to one email address, Darren. I'm not masking anything. I'm not covering it up. I am simply going to gmail.com and logging in to Sabrina at legacyrealtyandmanagement.com. Yeah,
Right.
so
And
Tamika says the same thing. Please talk about this, because
I want to share my screen and just show everyone this. So in your Gmail accounts, right? So when you go to google.com and you click on the login button, you have asks here. So this is my personal email, and then it says, do you want to log into another one? And then I can log into my Wise Agent email, right? So I can go between, and you can see here's my Wise Agent email. It's still a Gmail, it's a Gmail account, but it is, Eleni at Wise Agent. It's my email address, my work email address. There's another option. So if you are using Hotmail or AOL or whatnot, and you want to use these features within Wise Agent, there is another solution for you. There is a solution that you can do. You can go to your settings, where's this gear? And you can go into your settings and have those emails. You can add those accounts to here. So I have an MSN account. I have some test accounts. So I can come in here and add my email, my MSN email. So when I send an email, if I click on compose here, I can change how I'm sending this out. I can send this out as an MSN email, Yahoo, or my Gmail. If I wanted to also add my Wise Agent email, I can as well, if I'm using it through Outlook. So there is, and I think we do have blogs and we have articles on how you can do this. You can add this really easily. There's a couple of things that you have to do. Google does a great job of setting this up and walking you through those steps. So this is how you would send emails. And then there's a part where you could check mail from other accounts. So you can just click on this button, and it will allow you to add your Sabrina at Hotmail account to your Gmail, and now you could read those emails in here.
Yes. Okay.
So hopefully that kind of clarifies it, and that's done all through Gmail. And it's just done from server side, and there is, I'm seeing Tamika's question, do you have to pay for anything? You don't have to pay for any of that. Right. That is free.
That is free stuff. That's the free stuff. Woo,
yeah.
Woo, free.
I do want to go back. I thought I saw a question now. Oof, I won't be able to find it. Oh, here it is from Maya. So she asked, can I delete my Google emails and still have it on Wise Agent, or do I have that wrong? So Maya and everyone else, if you have your emails in your Google account and you go ahead and you store those as a note, once you store them in as a note, then they are stored in a Wise Agent as notes. However, just reading the emails from within Wise Agent, if you delete them on the Google side, they will be deleted. You won't be able to read them any longer from Wise Agent. So I just want to make sure that is a huge distinction. I don't want anyone out there going, select all, delete all my emails, I'll just read them through Wise Agent. You can't do that. And there are layers of protection in there on the Google side, but you want to make sure that you're not deleting all those emails that you may need. Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So that was a lot. And I know, adding that portion, that component of, your Outlook. I think there was a question in here. Do you do this with Outlook? No, we don't do it with Outlook, but then I saw Darren said, I have mine with a different server. Can I forward that from a different email? Yes, as long as it's a pop mail account, you can have it, and ask your email administrator. If you're the administrator, you could Google what a POP3 is. Most of the time you will have that. You can just add that to your Gmail account. And again, when you're sending out, then you're not sending from Sabrina at Gmail, you're sending it from Sabrina at your domain.com, which is a lot more powerful in your branding. Anything that you wanted to add to that, Sabrina, about the domains and whatnot?
No, because that was the part where I mentioned about the paid Google Workspace account. And
Yeah.
for anyone, if you stay till the end, I'll have a very nice link for you if you are interested in the paid version of Google Workspace. Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing is, we're talking about domains. I can't not talk about the fact that we do also sell domains. So you want to make sure, if you are sending, can you guys type in the chat if you're sending through like AOL or MSN or Hotmail, what other out there, Yahoo, or even Gmail. If you're sending from one of those domains, can you post it in here? Live is another one. Yeah. Those are like Apple Mail, Gmail, sending from Gmail, a lot of Gmails. Here's the thing with that is when you're doing things like bulk email sending, when you're just even doing the one, it mostly does affect those that are doing the bulk email sending. And I'm not saying this to prevent anyone from sending out bulk emails, because we do allow 2,500 emails to go out through Wise Agent on this, even if you have a Gmail account. But I'm going to say this about that, is that when you have your own domain, that does bring a sense of your own brand out there, right? So if I have Eleni at Eleni.com, right? If I own Eleni.com as a domain, that brand is out there all the time with my email. The nice thing is too, is when you can have it just looks a lot more professional, wouldn't you say, Sabrina?
Absolutely.
Having your own domain, there's a level of
Absolutely.
professionalism than just having like an AOL account.
Yes.
And
so let me just share this with you all. So
Yeah.
statistically thinking about this, right? When you first started real estate, you're thinking, oh, well, how do I get my friends and family to take me seriously as a real estate professional? And then you're still emailing them from your AOL account. Well, that's answer to the problem number one. You can absolutely get your own domain, and then you have your email address on that domain. So in my professional opinion, over the past 19 years, I am not telling anybody having a Gmail account is going to stop you from getting business, that it's going to make you look more or less professional. That's not the message here. I'm simply going with the message that wouldn't you rather have everything in one inbox that's business? And then you don't have to filter through from your personal. So that's when we're talking about systems and processes as a business owner. And that's what I'm differentiating here today.
Yeah, I think, and that's a great point. And that's, you can, it is, and Darren says absolutely, and it's one of the cheapest things that you can do. It is. A domain can be as cheap as, $5 a month. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. As far as the email sending, because if you're doing a bulk email sending and you're sending out from an AOL email address, what happens is some of those emails might go, well, one, AOL won't let you send more than 50, 75 contacts at one time. So you can't they'll prevent you from doing that from their servers just in and of itself right there. But then when you have going through Wise Agent to do that, we don't mask them. It's not a relay service. It's we're sending as you give us permission to do that. And so there's things that you have to do to give us that permission. But then what also happens is if it's coming from your domain, that means that you own that server, you own the rights to that domain. And so that gives your emails higher credibility to go out into those other servers like the Gmail servers, the AOL and the Yahoo that have kind of strict and tighter protocols for email sending and bulk sending specifically.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And again, to Darren's point, when I started investing in Google, right? 90% of you are not investing in the Google platform. The majority of you have the free account version. And so, yes, you are still able to do the things that we're able to do, but think about capacity and growth. Right? When you're in business, your business model should say growth all day, every day. And so if you want to grow, you don't want to subscribe to yet another platform in order to do these bulk mailers and your drip campaign, your newsletter, your buyer messages, whatever that looks like. The capacity is what's limited on anybody's free account. So just think of it that way. When you want to do more, you got to pay a little more.
Yeah, a little bit. And then we have a couple of questions here, about what is, is there a way to start Google Ads? And is that something that Wise Agent is integrated with? So yes, that is something that we are integrated with. We are it is in beta, and I can show you, gosh, what account am I in? Hold on, I can show you that in a second here. So Sabrina, and I'm not sure your familiarity with Google Ads, but is that something that you can talk about a little bit on Google Ads? I know that's a powerful tool there.
It is, absolutely. So let's start with what Google Ads does for your business. First and foremost, when you invest in a Google ad campaign, this is what allows you in a Google search through keyword searches. Think about, how does the average consumer find you in your marketplace, Darren? What words do they type in, Tamika? Are they typing realtor in Atlanta? Could you imagine all of the names that would come up? Real estate agent in San Francisco, or whatever the keywords are. That's how Google Ads work. It is all about the keyword. It is all about the search. So once you have a legitimate business, let's start with that, ladies and gentlemen. gybo.com/business. And I will type this in the chat because this is your ability to now, for free, claim your Google My Business account. So again, that is gybo.com/business. So I've dropped that in the chat. Once you claim your Google profile, what I could do is literally on my phone, go into my Google My Business app. I could schedule a post, I could post, I can share, I can put an event. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Google My Business. How many views on Google so far this month already because of the keywords? I'm already at, do y'all see these numbers?
927.
That is correct. Yeah. I'm not making this up. This is my live profile on Google. So based on my keywords, and ladies and gentlemen, I've got over 50 of them. So in other words, I've gone real estate agent, real estate professional, real estate consultant, realtor, real estate agent in Atlanta. Like, I've put every different version of a search that I know people would type to find me or someone on my team. And that's the whole thing with Google Ads. So number one, You got to have a legitimate business. You got to have that that business profile so that you can direct people to your website, because that's what Google ads do, right? They're either going to drive the traffic to your website, or they're going to drive them to come to your physical brick and mortar, or they're going to make the people call you, or it's going to ask for directions. So by claiming your profile with the link that I just dropped, GYBO, which stands for Get Your Business Online. So GYBO.com/business, go through the little bit of it goes step by step, put the information in, it's going to validate your business, you'll claim your business, and voila, you'll be up and running, and you can push the ads directly from the app. So as an example, I had a listing. I wanted to run an open house on that listing because it was 1 mile away from the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Hot market area, right? And so in my ad, I made sure that I use those keywords: Mercedes-Benz Stadium, City of Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, Vine City, Atlanta. So in your ad, it's all about the keywords.
Yeah. And a little nugget that Sarah posted too is, once you put in a few, Google will suggest similar keywords for you to add.
Yes.
And then I'm glad, Sabrina, that you brought up, the Google listing, because listing your new listing on Google Ads, because that is something that Wise Agent is doing now. It is in a beta version. So if you want to have access to this, send an email, and maybe Sarah can write the email in the chat. Just send an email to help@wiseagent.com, and we'll put you on the beta site for you to be able to run digital ads. And so what you'll be able to do is, not all of you have this option, but from your marketing drop down here, you'll have an option for digital ads. It will open up this portion, and now you can run a Google listing ad. So really easily you can go through and do what Sabrina said, right? You can choose your listing, right, from Wise Agent, and say, well, this is what I have. I have this one for sale here. And so now it will choose that listing, and it will give me, and it does your Google ad for you in a very easy tutorial, because those can be, and I think I saw a couple of people saying, wait, did someone teach you how to do this? What's their name? How'd you get that? Google ads and just digital ads in general, Facebook ads, those can be really complicated and convoluted. This is a great way of doing that first step, or maybe even the second step. The first step, in my opinion, would be using a landing page and then posting those. So if you're running Google ads, you need to have a page that they all come to. So if you don't have a website, which it's okay if you don't have a website, you don't have that web presence, you can use our landing pages. But Google ads require you a place to direct them to. You have to direct them somewhere. And so we have Sarah and her team just created this new template where I could come to and say, go ahead and, and I'll go ahead and create this here, where I can just have a landing page that is about me, right? So I can come in here, and there's a template that you can use in case any of you out there don't have any web presence. That would be your first step, is you have to have web presence, right? So we talked about getting that domain, and then the second thing is in using Google Apps, but then your web presence. So you can come in here and fill in these blanks, change it from, here, where I can now put in my name in here. Okay, and so let me capitalize it. And so now I can go ahead and save this. Now I can fill in all this information. I could upload a video here talking about me and, as a realtor, what I bring to the table for you to help you. And then right here where it says start your home search today, look at, if you don't have an IDX website, it's okay. and Sabrina, I don't know your opinion on this one, but I'll state mine and you tell us yours. But my opinion is people are going to portals. They're going to those big portals. We're not going to mention the big Z and the big R and all that other stuff, but they are going to those portals.
Yeah.
So you want to have that domain so you can have your email, right? You need your email domain. You could even have your domain on your landing pages, on your website. But then having an IDX, it's something that if you're a newer agent, I don't know if I would invest in that at this point. Sabrina?
Yes. So here's my thing, and I'm looking in the chat, and I know like
I was like blowing up here.
70% of the audience has completely zoned out because we're talking way high tech in their opinion, right? It's like, you are giving me too much. And I understand that. So I want to address something. A few of you are like, how can I learn this? How can I do this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I invested 12 weeks of my life to set in a program called Accelerate with Google. When I started my business, as I mentioned, I've been on the platform since 2014. I am of the mindset that I am not an expert of anything unless I've tried it, owned it, paid for it, loved it, liked it, hated it, and came back to it again, right? And so I know some of you are the try before you buy mentality, and I did that. I attended free Google workshops, and I'm happy to tell y'all, Grow with Google is a free program for entrepreneurs and startups. And the young lady who is the head of Grow with Google globally was my mentor. Okay. And so I wrote about her in my book because I had to give credit where credit was due. Google recognized that small businesses needed to learn how to advertise and market their small business on a small budget, right? Not everybody has the Coca-Cola and the McDonald's budgets of the world for marketing and advertising. And so when you take these free tools, 12 weeks was my commitment of time in exchange for the knowledge. And I learned how to get my business on Google, how to advertise on Google without losing money. Did I lose money in the beginning? Heck yeah, y'all. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was awesome from the beginning. No, I had to try and try again. And then if you have to take the time to sit with a Google Ads specialist, do you know you can do that too for quite a bit cheaper than you can by hiring me as your coach? So I just want to say, use the tools that they give you, because that's the wonderful thing about Google's platform. As a paid subscriber, the tech support comes with. You can't even go to Geek Squad and get tech support at that cost. So start there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say yes. Google support is decent for a technology company. I know you can't reach them by phone, so if you're one of those phone people, that you're out of luck on that. You got to use their chat or email. But I would definitely say having a way of, having a way to learn something. Like at YouTube University is a powerful tool, another Google product that we ran out of time. We're out of time, Sabrina. But that's one of our other integrations we didn't get to. But I know we've got, and I'm gonna just kind of wrap it up with this one thing, is that you want to make sure that you're doing your research and figuring out how all of this done. Wise Agent is here to support you in any of that. So if it is Google Ads that you're wanting to run, we do have that ability for you. It is in beta testing right now. But if you want to get on that beta test program, just send an email out to help@wiseagent.com and we'll get you on that list. You can also message Sabrina. And Sabrina, I know if you guys are on here and want to try Wise Agent as well, Sabrina has her link that she'd like to share with you all as well. Yes. Just go to wiseagent.com/tech evangelist. Sorry, wiseagent.com/tech evangelist, and you can sign up for your Wise Agent account through that as well as the 14-day free trial of the Google workshop. So, and you even get 10% off for the entire year. Look at you guys, that is, because I think that it's like $10-15 an account, an email address that you get. So it is really inexpensive. So if you need help even with figuring out how do you get a domain and then this workspace, call in a Wise Agent, will help you set that all up and get that going for you. Okay.
And the last thing I want to do is tell everyone that you can absolutely do it's a QR code and use that QR code in lieu of links and downloads, and use that in your text messaging, y'all, because Eleni taught me how to do this again when I spoke at NAR Annual this past year. And this QR code worked amazing. By the end of my session at NAR in San Diego, I had over 50 people that scanned the code, took the questionnaire. I was able to take their answers and then recommend to them which one of the Google Suite tools was best for them. If you would like to have that opportunity, just scan this, do a screenshot right now on your cell phone, y'all. You know how to do a screenshot, right? And so then I will be able to follow up with you, because you'll literally go through exactly what we just taught you today, going from that replacing the Google form with a landing page through Wise Agent. That Wise Agent landing page, once you hit submit, does a text message campaign, which is already set up in Wise Agent. And by the end of it, I get the email with your information, and I can support you and send you in the direction that makes good business sense for you. Yes, Google Workspace is an investment, and we can talk about that offline, because I don't want to profess and proclaim to be all the sales agent of Google. I'm just here to help you, right? And then last but certainly not least, there is the link that Eleni talked about. You all can try Wise Agent, right? That's wiseagent.com/tech evangelist, and that will take you to a free trial. And then last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, there is my contact information. So just scan your screen one more time, and I will be happy to connect with you offline. Eleni,
Yes.
Sarah, Wise Agent, thank you so much to everyone that chimed in. Again, if we were unable to address your questions live on the webinar, this is your time to connect with us individually.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Sabrina. I appreciate all the information that you provided. And we're going to have these links. Sabrina shared this information with us. So on the email that we send out with the replay of this, you'll have all these links in there, as well as Sabrina's contact information. So thank you everyone for joining us. Sabrina, thank you so much, my fabulous friend. I appreciate you being on here and sharing this information with us. I will see you all on February 3rd. I'm going to be back with another webinar series talking about our AI bot with Greg Hanner. And so one of our power members, I'm excited to have Greg on as well. And so I will see you all. Wow, there's a lot of chat going on. A lot of thank yous. So Ed, thank you for being on again. And everybody else, thank you. Thanks, Sabrina. Thanks, my dear.
Thank you. Everybody have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thanks. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.